I've probably made a video along this title line for like 3 different times now. This is going to be the 3rd time I'll make a video saying Epic SMP is over, but unfortunately this is going to be the last one. Mainly because in this video we're going to be discussing a lot of the things that have happened over the past couple of days and pretty much giving you information on what's happened to the Epic SMP and what's going to be happening moving forward. But before we get into that, we're really close to 7,000 subscribers, so it'd be highly appreciated if you go down there below and hit the subscribe button and even hit the like button while you're down there. Either way, now that I'm done being YouTube's slave, let's actually get into the video and what you're here for. So in the batches of streams that happened on day 2 of the 2nd season / reboot of the Epic SMP, collection of events ended up going down, which is basically just Trevor being a bit more depressed and reminiscing on the good times of the Epic SMP and reminiscing on the things that just went wrong with the reboot that happened. The main stream that I recommend to go look at when it comes down to it is Selma's stream, which I'll leave a link in the description down below. This video is mainly coming to exist because it was around 2-3 hours worth of discussion that they had about the server in that stream, so if you want to see the entire thing and understand everything that happened, and of course I'll be leaving the link to Selma's stream in the description down below. This video is just going to condense it down to a far shorter format for you so you can understand what's been going on. So essentially what went down is there was a lot of discussion between Trevor, Nopify, and Selma about the server and where it's going to be heading in the future, as well as a lot of discussion on potential ideas and what they can do heading forward next, as well as discussing the people that said they were going to join but ultimately didn't actually join the server in the first place, as well as the lack amount of playing by certain people in the server who even joined and played for like a little bit and then just stopped playing entirely. Throughout the stream, and this portion of the stream, they go through reminiscing on different memories and going through different buildings, blowing up a few of them, burning down another couple of them, as well as discussing potential ideas on what Epic SMP or Trevor can do moving forward with the server. Ultimately leading to a point where Trevor reminisces on what happens and complains that everything just went so damn wrong, and then decided to end the server live on stream. Essentially what happened is he went to the server command console and just stopped the server while there was a few people live streaming it. At the time, people were not completely sure on whether this means Epic SMP was over or not, but there was definitely a lot of rumors and discussion about it not long afterwards. After everyone left the call, Selma decided to start discussing about the people who were supposed to have joined the server but never actually did so in the first place, name dropping people like Carl Jacobs and other people who were said that they were going to join in and actually play in the server but never ended up actually joining, as well as talking about the people who would only pop in like once or twice throughout the entire thing and barely even played in the first place, and as well as complained about the amount of people who said they wanted to play in the server but when they got invited they decided not to actually play in the server in the first place. Ultimately, Selma decided to slight a lot of the people who were meant to have joined the Epic SMP server and pretty much claimed that a majority of the people in the server knew about it, they said they were going to join but just never actually ended up playing in the server at any point in time whatsoever. There was a furthermore discussion throughout the stream itself discussing what they plan to do with the server moving forward, and the first thing I want to point out is that the server's not over just yet, but it pretty much is going to be. Essentially right now, the main thing that's going to be happening is Swagger Souls wants to finish off his current arc that he's going through in the server, which ultimately just requires 3 to 4 extra people to help roleplay it out, but then that'll be about it. Essentially, Swagger wants to complete that arc before they end up doing anything with the server, which right now looks to be the case that the server will be closing down. It also looks like that Trevor is going to give up the responsibility of hosting the server as he feels like it was just too much and it was a very stressful and not fun adventure to be doing, especially when people don't end up joining because it feels like the responsibility comes down on you. He also discussed the fact that there were a lot of people who wanted to watch the server but barely anyone actively wanted to play it, even though there was a definite audience out there who wanted to actually enjoy the server. He also ended up going into a form of discussion where they were also discussing about just making a whole entire new server, as they do want to do an SMP server but they're not quite sure if this one's going to actually work out properly. The proposed idea that one of them had was the ability of just kicking out everyone who never played in the Epic SMP server in the first place and take the core active members and form an entirely new SMP that's going to be a whole lot more exclusive and a whole lot smaller in comparison to the current size of the Epic SMP. He also discussed the very likelihood of just rebranding the thing entirely when they do reboot the server with these people that were playing in the first place, as well as even the possibility of taking away mods entirely from the server. There's also been furthermore discussion about Swagger Souls taking the reins of the server and making an entire new SMP underneath the name Swagger SMP, which I don't know if it's going to happen too much, but it definitely sounds like that they're all still interested in running an SMP server, but Trevor just doesn't want to have the responsibility of hosting it anymore. The ultimate ideas at play here was that they wanted to reboot the server, but with a whole lot less to it to make it so it wasn't too overbearing at first and allow people to get their heads around it, as well as make it so that people who do end up joining the server understand it's a bit more exclusive, as a lot less people will be playing and they'll actually want to play a little more often because there'll be more people watching you as there's less people on the server to begin with. Now, of course, originally it wasn't exactly confirmed or not whether the Epic SMP will end up coming to a close, but over the past couple of hours, ModestCube has adjusted the Epic SMP Twitter account as well as his own. First off, ModestCube has taken out any mention of the Epic SMP out of his own Twitter bio completely, and the Epic SMP Twitter's account's bio has been changed to coming to a close soon. Essentially pretty much confirming the fact that the server is pretty much done, that they'll probably do the Swagger Souls final story arc and then close the server up for good. Now that we're at the end of the complete discussion, I'll just quickly go over everything briefly just so you understand everything. First off, the server is going to continue on for a moment longer in order to finish off Swagger Souls' arc. That is what is apparently going to be planned, as Swagger Souls does want to complete his story arc in the server. And second, they do plan to have another SMP in the future, but it will most likely be rebranded and not associated as much with the original Epic SMP stuff. It will have a lot of the same people that were active in the Epic SMP server, but it will honestly just be slightly different. There is of course the potentiality of no mods being involved in the server whatsoever, as well as a lot of different other ideas that are definitely up in the air at the moment. Essentially, the core idea that they want to do is have a smaller server that's going to be a lot less stress and a lot less more responsibility, just so everyone can have a lot more fun with it. As well as just having better scheduling tactics, as that was like one of the core things that Trevor said was a problem up at the end of it. Ultimately, seeing that that is what's going to be happening at this point moving forward, Epic SMP is officially really just coming to a close. You might see people like Crank's Gameplay and Swagger Souls continue to upload clips-based videos on their channels for the Epic SMP, but as far as the actual concern for the server is, it's officially coming to an end very soon. Honestly, it sucks to say this and actually put out this video with this strong of a title about it being over. I understand that I've talked about it being over several different times on my channel, but it's been more of a question and discussing what's been happening to you guys. But this time round, the title is exactly what it is. The Epic SMP server is coming to a close very shortly. But it doesn't mean that the adventures that happened along the way will be lost forever. They'll still all be there and the fun will still be there, as well as the group of people who were most active in the server do plan to start up an entirely new Epic SMP, or an SMP of some sorts in the future. Just for the time being, it is practically over. And honestly, that kinda sucks. I was so looking forward for the reboot for the Season 2 to see how that goes, but honestly it kinda sucks to see it come to a close, but it's also quite understandable why. So, guys, if you did end up enjoying this video and found this information valuable, I would like to ask you guys to subscribe if you want to see more content from me. We'll also try and keep up to date with information on the potentiality of the next server that will be coming into play for this group of people. But until next time, guys, I've been your host, Kazare. Goodbye.